John C. Hagee Prophecy Study Bible, published by Thomas Nelson Incorporated, first printed in 1997 and still sold by John Hagee Ministries. John Hagee's interpretation of the second book of Joel, of the verses sung in the song Blow the Trumpet in Zion, is that they concern a time of unparalleled retribution upon Israel.
Behold, I will send for many fishers, and after will I send for many hunters. And they, the hunters, shall hunt them, that will be the Jews, from every mountain and from every hill and from out of the holes of the rock.
I want to take the liberty of describing Pastor Hagee in the words that the Torah uses to describe Moses.
Was Texas megachurch pastor John Hagee really like Moses? In his 1997 book, Day of Deception, in a chapter called America Under a Curse, John Hagee described a wide range of curses that afflicted America as a nation, that afflicted Americans as a people, that afflicted Americans individually. The poor were cursed. There were curses that spanned 4 generations. Hagee wrote, "As a nation, America is under the curse of God even now. Look at the scriptures and decide for yourself. The stand we have taken on abortion, the stand we have taken against God in our classrooms, just may have sealed our doom."
John McCain never went to Pastor Hagee's church. He accepted his endorsement.
This is the great whore of Revelation 17.
When Pastor John Hagee's political endorsement of Arizona Senator John McCain's presidential bid first became controversial following the discovery that Hagee had appeared on the nationally broadcast television show of evangelist Kenneth Copeland, accusing the Roman Church of inspiring the Holocaust and calling it, quote, the great whore, unquote. Connecticut Senator Joe Lieberman suggested that Hagee's endorsement of McCain wasn't such a big deal because McCain had passively accepted Hagee's endorsement. Actually, McCain had chased Hagee for over a year before gaining the endorsement, and Joseph Lieberman was right there, apparently helping McCain with the pursuit.
He represents a lot of people in this country, particularly Christians who care about the state of Israel. He founded a group called Christians United for Israel.
Of all the congressmen and diplomats who lined up to pay fealty to Pastor Hagee, Senator Joseph Lieberman received by far the best reception.
I want to take the liberty of describing Pastor Hagee in the words that the Torah uses to describe Moses. He is an Ish Elohim, a man of God. And those words really do fit him.
Ezekiel 38, God promises to draw Israel with a hook in your jaw in Ezekiel 38:4. The hook in the jaw is oil. Message, World War III is going to start for a global battle for oil. I have something to say. World War III has already started. We're just not smart enough to connect the dots yet. 1,000 years, God is then going to bring all of the wicked dead from the place of hell to the great white throne judgment. They will come down to the lake of fire. God's going to renovate the earth by fire. We're going to have a new earth that's going to be like the Garden of Eden. And right here to the end of the chart is eternity, where time is no more. Anti-Semitism is an oxymoron. An anti-Semite is someone who is driven by hate. A Christian is someone who's driven by love. Therefore, there's no such thing as a Christian anti-Semite.
Satan is an angel of light. The Illuminati were a super secret organization of international financial power brokers in Europe who had as their goal a worldwide economic power. And they would rule the world through economic wealth.
If the international Jewish financiers inside and outside Europe succeed in plunging the nations once more into a world war, then the result will not be the Bolshevization of the earth and thus the victory of Jewry, but the annihilation of the Jewish race in Europe. Adolf Hitler, speech to the German Reichstag, January 30, 1939.
In 2001, Pastor Hagee earned over $1.2 million. His salary, which was approved by himself and members of his own family, is among the highest of any television evangelist. Pastor Hagee lives in a 5,275 square foot Greek Revival mansion and on a $2.1 million, 8,000-acre ranch. During the brief session in which Pastor Hagee made himself available to the media, I asked him about passages in his book, Jerusalem Countdown, in which he seemed to blame Jews for their own persecution.
On page 92 of Jerusalem Countdown, you write, "It was the disobedience and rebellion of the Jews, God's chosen people, to their covenantal responsibility to serve the one and only true God, Jehovah, that gave rise to the opposition and persecution that they experienced beginning in Canaan and continuing to this very day." Can you explain your support for Israel and the Jewish people in the context of that quote?
Yes, that's out of the book of Deuteronomy. Have you ever read it?
Yes, I have. I read the Bible.
Well, it's just as true as when Moses read it as it is right now.
And I just wanted to clarify, if by quoting Deuteronomy or by using this quote, you are blaming the persecution of the Jewish people on the Jewish people for their rejection of Christ.
I'm not blaming that. That is an absolute stretch. I never wrote that in the book.
They run on the wall. Great is the army that carries out his word. They rush on the city, they run on the wall. Great is the army that carries out his word. The Lord utters his voice.